Hey there, Save Crackers. Get your combinations out, kiddies, because it is time to crack open the comic vault. What do we have today, Cap?
Well, Vince, today we're going to be taking a look at What If Venom Possessed the Punisher. This is What If number 44. The year was 1992. And if you're not familiar with What If, most of our viewers I'm sure are, but we'll just mention this very quickly for anybody who's not. What If was an ongoing series that came out every month that was about going back to different parts of story arcs in Marvel and looking at it to see what would happen if something different occurred. They did things like, what if Spider-Man kept his 6 arms, and they did things like, what if Spider-Man married the Black Cat, and they did this with things all over the Marvel universe.
If you've ever considered collecting the Watcher stuff, What If is on your list.
You're gonna have to get all of it because the Watcher's in each of them. And the Watcher, I always thought, by the way, that it was interesting that the Watcher existed before What If, because when I was a kid, I thought that the Watcher was just a creation of What If. The only reason the Watcher, because I read a lot of What If stories before I even knew what the real stories were.
I thought the Watcher was created for the Fantastic Four, but I could be wrong.
Oh, I think it was, but I mean, like when I was a kid, I was like, oh, the Watcher seems like just a contrivance so that What If can happen, because What If is
the Watcher is definitely a contrivance.
But What If is like different universes, so it's not even outside of continuity. You have different parallel universes, and this is what happens in some of them.
It's an interesting opening conceit. He is basically the Crypt Keeper for the What If universes. That's
a good point. So in this one, of course, Venom possesses the Punisher in exactly the same time that he, in the regular reality that we're used to, possessed Eddie Brock. And so he ends up possessing the Punisher instead of Eddie Brock because the Punisher is the one at the church instead of Eddie Brock.
Once again, we are reviewing a comic book where a character goes to church to contemplate conflicting morals.
So Vince, you being the resident expert on the Punisher, how did you feel about the Punisher's characterization with the Venom symbiote?
I thought it was interesting. I think 92 is around about the right time to start showing obsessed Punisher rather than Punisher who feels like he's on a crusade. What I think is the most interesting thing about this, and how he uses the Venom symbiote is really indicative of how the Punisher works.
Oh, okay.
Because the Venom Eddie Brock used it much the same way, just mimicking Spider-Man. Two guys that are both obsessed with Spider-Man. This is a man who does battle tactics. He's used to machines that can fly, machines that drive fast, and machines that shoot little metal pellets of some kind, be it a bullet or otherwise. But so it's interesting that he manages to use the suit in different ways. And if I may spoil some of his interesting powers,
sure.
He uses it as a glider, so that's neat.
I liked that, yeah.
And like Spider-Man even says, "Well, this isn't something I've seen, or this isn't something I've seen happen before." He's using this suit really interestingly, something that I couldn't do while I was using the symbiote. But that's the most interesting thing. Is I think it brought to light some more interesting things about the Punisher while keeping it a little bit early '90s comic booky.
Because it's only your standard 22 pages, there's not a whole lot of actual story in this, and that's how What If sometimes ends up going, where it's kind of, you know, it's for the people who know this material already, so it's kind of a blanket overall what would happen. We give you snippets as opposed to like this full story, because I mean if they were really going to delve into this, it would take a few issues.
Yeah. So ultimately, what do they show in this comic book while they're just giving you snippets? The point is that they're showing the Punisher getting the symbiote and losing control of the symbiote until the end when they resolve
and
it.
Superhero's not liking what he's doing with it and trying to stop him, and then the end of it, you know, does he keep it or does he not? And what does that happen? And this is a What If issue. I'm sure nobody minds. I'll spoil this if you care to read it. Stop this and then go read the book. But in this, he of course does keep the symbiote, and the whole point of this with the Punisher is he has to tame the Venom symbiote. What do you think about that?
I thought that I thought it was interesting. Like, he doesn't necessarily go overboard. He loses control of his weapon. His weapon is something that gains control of him, and like the first instance that he loses control, the Punisher is so fatigued from letting the symbiote feed off of him that while he was sleeping, the symbiote takes him out and does like brutalizes a microchip, and then goes out and hurts innocents and hurts criminals and just has a non-discriminating scope.
When I was reading it, I guess the problem I had with it was I wasn't noticing the innocents he was killing. You know, it seemed like he was going after the same kind of people he usually go after most of the time, and I was kind of surprised that he attracted the attention of so many superheroes.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that I think the deal is that the Punisher attracts the attention of superheroes anyway. So people are always looking at him, and now that there's a guy that can just bold-faced go into public because he has a suit that allows him to disguise himself, and he is very publicly killing the bad guys, that he is gaining all of this recognition, or I suppose disdain from superheroes, because he's not doing it the right way. And what does the symbiote add to that? He doesn't necessarily go out and kill innocents. He loses control and he fights Spider-Man in ways that he hadn't done before. I think that was the worst English I've used.
He doesn't even attack the superheroes until the very, very end. I mean, it doesn't seem like he's even doing anything all of that out of Punisher's character until the end.
Because What If is the way it is, with a one-shot, and they're having to jam everything in there, they have one instance where he fights Spider-Man, and then he wakes up and says, "What am I doing?" And then it's over. Right. And then at the end, he's fighting the superheroes, and he says to himself, "I need to regain control, and I need to figure out how to use this weapon effectively."
What If very often has, one of the things that it has going for it a lot of the time, especially both the original 2 volumes. I should also say that they will occasionally publish another one. They're always one-shots now. I wish they were still going on. You know what I mean? But it was one of my favorite things. I love What If. But one of the things that this book very often had going for it is they would try very hard to mimic the art style of whatever the book was that they were going back to and changing. And this has some great Venom art in it. It has a lot of very Todd McFarlane looking Venom art, and I'm very nostalgic for the early '90s Venom stuff, and it looks great. So.
Just out of curiosity, I wanted to see who the artist was. Luke McDonnell.
I'm not even sure who that is, but he did a great job.
Kurt Busiek is a solid writer, by the by.
Oh, sure, yeah, we didn't even say that. Yeah.
So, Kurt Busiek and Luke McDonnell.
Do you know that artist?
No. But it's very pretty, very well done. Well, as pretty as you can make Venom look.
Well, Vince, you want to jump over to the trivia question?
Sure.
The last week, the trivia question was, who created Daredevil along with Stan Lee? The correct answer there was, of course, Bill Everett, and the first person who got that right was Guitar Dude 006. Well done to you, sir. And remember, of course, to answer this next trivia question in the comments below. Whoever gets it first, I will mention in next week's video. And Vince, what is our trivia question for today?
All right, boys. Just this past year, another unlikely Marvel character was featured in a What If issue where he was possessed by the Punisher symbiote. That was dumb.
By the Punisher symbiote.
By the Venom symbiote.
You want to start the question over, Vince?
Yeah, let's start that over.
All right, go ahead.
Just this past year, another unlikely Marvel character was featured in a What If issue where he was possessed by the Venom symbiote. Who was that character?
And here is the hint. The hint is right here. So that should help you out. And again, answer that question. We'll mention you next time, whoever gets it right first. I just have to say, you said, "Let's go, boys," and I just have to mention, it's totally cool if girls are watching this.
That's true.
Hey, remember that the Comic Book Vault is a giant, vast wonderland, Vince, of comic books, and you can both donate to and purchase things from the Comic Book Vault. If you'd like to send us something, be sure to send it to our P.O. Box at Geekvolution, P.O. Box 14183, Lenexa, Kansas 66285. And you can also buy things from the Comic Vault on eBay, and if you want to see what we're currently selling, go to wearegeeks.nerds.com, click on
what?
The Comic Vault. Click on the Comic Vault, and you can find out what we're selling. Thanks a lot for watching the Comic Vault. I'm Captain Logan,
and I'm Vince, telling you that Cap actually chose this issue.
Oh, okay. Yes, I did choose, but you're choosing next week's issue.
I am indeed.
Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.